Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 6, verses number 20 and 23. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyanatmani tushyati sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam stitaschalati tattvataha yam ladva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचलयते तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग वियोगं योगसंज्ञितम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material, mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna to all of you, and thank you so much for joining. We are still continuing with chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, which is about meditation. And these few verses that we read, 20, 21, 22, and 23, Krishna is giving us knowledge by which we can understand how we can be in trance, which means in that joyous state in which we are completely satisfied, we are very happy, and also reach the stage of samadhi. Unfortunately, excuse me, people have a misconception that samadhi can be attained only after death. No, that is not the case. Even while living in this material body, we can reach that stage where we are in trance. We are not disturbed at all. Doesn't matter what kind of difficulties we need to face, but we are in that stage of samadhi. So these verses actually are giving us a description of a perfect yogi. Someone who has attained samadhi and someone who is always in trance. I think that is what we all want. We don't want to be disturbed in difficulties. We don't want to be disturbed in distress. We want to be permanently happy. Now, that is possible only when we reach that stage of samadhi. And samadhi is a state of consciousness. It is nothing physical that we can see, oh, let me wear saffron clothes and then I'm in samadhi. No. Or for men, let me grow a big beard and I'm in samadhi. No. This is a state of consciousness. Excuse me. So, Prabhupada, in the purport to all these verses, he explains, even in the verse, Krishna says that we need to restrain from mental activities. How? With the help of yoga, which means reach a stage of self-realization where we have understood ourselves. We have understood our real identity, where we have purified our mind, and we have come to a stage where we are equipoised. Nothing disturbs us at all. Why? Because we are satisfied. We know whatever we are facing right now in the present is based on our past karma, which we cannot change. But we can definitely change our future by doing what we need to do now at the present. So be satisfied in all circumstances. Then one will reach that joyous state, which is actually a state of consciousness. Now, once one reaches that stage of trance, it's not that after some time the person will fall down again. No, it'll be a permanent situation where there's permanent happiness. It's not that there is happiness today and not there tomorrow. Why? Because not only the mind, even the senses are purified. And Bhagavad Gita, all through all the chapters, is just giving us knowledge on what is the process to purify the mind and the senses. See, mind is actually the culprit, if we come to think of it, because everything happens in the mind. Thinking, feeling, willing, everything like desires, everything happening in the mind. So if one fixes the mind on Krishna, then mind is not going to waver, go here, there, everywhere. And the best way to fix the mind on Krishna is practice Bhakti Yoga. And that is a process recommended for this age of Kali Yuga. So, what will Bhakti Yoga do to us? What will be the result? We'll become purified. Our mind will be purified. And then Prabhupada says, even the verse says, we will relish and rejoice in our own selves. We are not going to look for happiness elsewhere. Let me buy this, let me get this one, let me talk to this one. We will not look for happiness outside. Why? Because we'll be satisfied within. Excuse me. And this boundless transcendental happiness is permanent. The simple reason, because we have purified our mind, we have purified our senses, and so now we are in that stage of trance. In the 18th chapter, we will learn Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. When we reach that Brahma Bhuta stage, like we are talking about, that stage of samadhi, that stage of trance, then no sochati na kanksha. There's going to be no hankering or lamentation. Excuse me. You see, we'll reach that stage. No hankering, no lamentation. And then we will not be, shaken when there is difficulty in life. Who doesn't have difficulty? Everybody has difficulties in life, because Krishna says this material world is dukhalayam. It is a place of misery. So if we are in a place of misery, how can we expect happiness, which is permanent? But Bhagavad Gita is giving us knowledge that we can change our consciousness and be happy even in the greatest difficulty. That is the actual freedom from all miseries, because it's not affecting us. So it's just a state of consciousness. See, we are in the same body. We are in the same country, city, family, whatever, but we have changed our consciousness. So you see, there are so many benefits in just coming to that stage of samadhi. And Bhakti Yoga will help us to become detached from the material conception of life. See, the biggest misconception we have is, I am this body and I'm never going to die. That is a misconception we have. But once we realize, no, I am a spirit soul, and there is Paramatma, the super soul within the heart, who is guiding us, right? Then we will be able to purify ourselves. You see, then even our mind and intelligence will become transcendental, simply by understanding who we are, and that we are in the heart, situated in the heart, along with the super soul. Now, all this that we are hearing from Krishna to Arjuna, it is for our benefit. Arjuna was already a pure devotee, but he pretended to be in ignorance so that he could ask questions and Krishna would respond and give answers for our benefit. Unfortunately, most people, they think I am the controller, and that is not true. We cannot even control our body. We cannot control our aging process. We cannot control, the diseases that we have in the body, all the miseries that the body and the mind is giving. We don't have any control. And we should not even try for it, because our constitutional position is to be eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishna ra Nitya Das. Nitya means eternal servant. You see? And this process of yoga, which is Bhakti Yoga, it helps us to reconnect with the Supreme Lord, you see? To actually clear the mirror of our mind. Right now, there's a lot of dust of all the misconceptions that we have. All that is there. So this Bhagavad Gita helps us to purify our mind, purify our senses, and that purity can easily be achieved simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, which we call the mantra meditation. It's because, since time immemorial, our consciousness is contaminated. You can say there is a material infection. We have noticed when there is infection in the body reacts. We get high fever, or we start vomiting, or whatever it could be, or body pain. That is a sign of some infection in the body. Same thing has happened to our mind. It's infected. There is infection, contamination. Why? Because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our position. We've forgotten that we are meant to serve the Lord instead of serve our senses all the time. You see? So now that we know that we have an infection, what do we do to treat it? Simple. There is proper medication and diet. The mantra meditation is the medication, and the diet is eating food, only that food that is offered to the Lord, which is called prasadam, sanctified food. That is the diet. So when we start following this process given to us in the Bhagavad Gita, then we will reach our ultimate goal, which is performing pure devotional service to the Lord. And this is the best process for this age. So when you see, it is not just like when we take up a job. We don't go just one day a week and then, take it very easy for the remaining 6 days. No, we go at least 5 days a week because that is required. That is a requirement of the job. So also in spirituality, we have to be, we have to be regular every day, chant every day, read Bhagavad Gita every day, offer our food every day. So this daily routine will help us to change our consciousness. But when we do it sporadically, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't do, then there's no consistency, and then there is not much change in the consciousness. You see, just like the body needs to be maintained. So when we have to maintain the body, why not maintain it in a Krishna conscious way? Simple living, high thinking. Just go for the bare necessities. We don't need to, run after luxuries and some things that we can actually do without. So simple living and high thinking will help us to reconnect with the Supreme Lord. Now, in the very next verse, Krishna is talking about practicing this yoga system with determination and faith, and not deviate from this path of self-realization. You see, we have noticed determination and faith are required in any aspect of life. You see, if say, I have just got married, I don't know my husband, it's an arranged marriage, I don't know him, and I want my marriage to work, how will that happen? I have to have that faith. Does that make sense? I have to have that faith. And also, there has to be determination. I want this marriage to work. But if both are not there, how is it going to work? It won't. Same applies for spirituality. When we are on this path of bhakti yoga, we have to have that determination, need to have a goal. Where do I want to go from here? Do I want to come back into this material world? Then I don't need to do anything. It'll be automatic. But if I want to break this cycle of birth and death and go to a place where there is permanent happiness, where there is no coming back into this material world of miseries, then I need to be, firmly fixed in this bhakti yoga practice. There has to be determination and faith that this is what is going to take me back to the spiritual world. And determination will come only when our faith is strong. We probably have basic faith that yes, according to the Vedic scriptures, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna himself, the supreme Lord. We have that faith, basic faith, but how to make it strong? That no matter what, this faith is not going to be shaken. And that becomes possible when we take on the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and associate with devotees. We practice Bhagavad Gita, then what will happen? The unwanted things in the heart will go away, like lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, whatever it may be. In whatever degree it may be, it's all going to go away because these are unwanted things which are sitting in our hearts. And then we will be able to purify our heart, purify our mind and senses, and even sharpen our intelligence with knowledge. And then our faith will become very strong. And once the faith is strong, then determination becomes a possibility. So we need to have our goal in mind and also understand what's the process, the method, and then we'll be able to, achieve that stage of determination. You see, the process works. Many have tried it before. I have been following it for 40 years now. If it didn't give me happiness and peace, I would have given it up in a few months or maybe a few days. I don't know. But it gives me a lot of peace of mind. And I'm still practicing, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that this process works. But it's just a matter of do we want to follow it or we don't. He does not interfere with our minute independence that we have. If he wants, he can force us, but that is not love. You see, we cannot love somebody by force. You see? And we cannot even succeed without the blessings of the Supreme Lord. Blessings will be showered only when someone is endeavoring sincerely and seriously. You see? And here in this verse, and even in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada explains that we need to identify what are the desires that we have in our hearts. What kind of desires? Are they material? Are they spiritual? If they are material desires, are they born of mental speculation? And for that, we need guidance. We need guidance from a bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, the mind will deviate, mind will take us here, there, everywhere. It is said that the mind is like a monkey, it keeps jumping from one branch to another. And that is why there are 22,000 desires every day, in our minds. They are just popping up. You see? So guidance will help us. Of course, why do we need guidance? Because we are not perfect. And we have the tendency to speculate. You see? And perfect knowledge we know comes from the perfect source, which is the Supreme Lord Himself. And Bhagavad Gita is actually the essence of the Vedas, is given by the Supreme Lord Himself for our benefit. So if one wants to come to the stage of trance or attain samadhi, which I explained, samadhi is not after death. Samadhi is a state of consciousness. For that, we need to control our senses and control the mind also. And bhakti yoga is a process. It's just bhakti yoga, you can say, is a higher taste. And to get higher taste, we need to give up the lower taste. And mantra meditation helps us to achieve that higher taste because it helps us to purify our mind and senses. Now, what does, I keep talking about mantra meditation all the time. Why? Because it is very, very important. And that is the process mentioned for this age of Kali Yuga. Now, what does this mantra meditation do? It's chanting the holy names. So, chanting, it attracts our hearts to our original spiritual consciousness. And that original spiritual consciousness is the state of unconditional loving service to the Lord. You see, unconditional. It's not, especially in this material world, friendships, they are based on what's in it for me. Okay. I, want to be your friends, but what is the benefit I'm going to get from you? There's a condition. But when it comes to loving service to the Supreme Lord, it has to be unconditional. And to be able to reach that stage of trance or to attain samadhi, determination and strong faith, very, very important. Now, the $1,000,000 question is how to develop that. Excuse me, how to develop, that strong faith and determination. First of all, we need to associate with spiritually minded people, get guidance from them, read the Bhagavad Gita. Excuse me. Read the Bhagavad Gita. Hear the Bhagavad Gita. And do mantra meditation. See, these are the steps when we take, we will be able to purify our mind and senses. You see, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well. Austerity is a requirement. Austerity is actually part of Bhakti Yoga. And while performing Bhakti Yoga, perseverance is also very important. We should not take Bhakti as being a very casual thing. No? Just like in some offices, I don't know if it's still happening, but on Fridays it's called a casual day, right? Where you can wear casual clothes, jeans or whatever, which you can do Monday through Thursday. But Bhakti Yoga is not casual. Bhakti is not casual at all. We need to perform some austerities. You see, follow the prescribed duties mentioned in the scriptures in association of devotees. You see, in the beginning, even doing mantra meditation may, appear to be very difficult. But if we have that determination, Krishna will help us. There is a saying, God helps those who help themselves. You see? So this process is easy and simple, and Krishna is ready to help us, provided we want to go ahead with this process, provided we want to reach that stage of samadhi where we are so satisfied that no difficulty, no circumstance, nobody can shake our faith or disturb us. So we need to make that decision. Is this something I'm interested in or I'm not? Now, the last verse for today, which is verse number 25, Krishna gives the step by step process. And he says, when we follow this process with conviction, then we will reach our goal. You see, this yoga practice is slow and steady. You see, we cannot expect that today I chant the holy names and tomorrow I am in samadhi. That is not possible. You see, it's not instant success. You have to work on it. Take guidance, associate with devotees, use our intelligence, read, hear, contemplate on what we are hearing. You see, then gradually we will be able to dovetail our activities in Krishna consciousness. We will then gradually stop listening to our mind. You see, our mind is chattering all the time. We must have noticed that, when children, when they are growing up and they start learning how to speak, then they start speaking a lot. They have so many questions: why, when, how, what, why the sky is blue, why, they have, because they have learned the art of talking, and so they are excited and they talk a lot. That's what the mind does. It talks all the time to us. So we will learn with austerity how to stop listening to the mind. You see, this body is actually a vehicle for the spirit soul, which is in the heart, to interact, to engage in devotional service using the mind and the body. And by that process, liberate oneself and come to the stage of samadhi. Then we will be able to reawaken our original natural state of consciousness. Originally, we are from the spiritual world. We are parts of the Supreme Lord who is spiritual. That's why we are spirit souls. We are spiritual. But once we start engaging our mind and body in Krishna consciousness, in Bhakti Yoga, then we will reawaken that original natural state. You see? So to control the mind, it's important that we chant every day, do mantra meditation. Only then we will reach that stage of being in trance or attaining samadhi. And the easiest and the best and the most simple process is chanting every day. So since we are talking so much about chanting, let us, chant for a few minutes, maybe just 10 times, just chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's a very simple mantra. It's called a Maha Mantra. It's the greatest of all the mantras given to us for this age of Kali Yuga by Krishna himself when he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please chant with me. We'll just chant 10 times. And when you have time, you please chant. These are 108 beads. So at least chant 108 times, which is one round. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you see, it's very, very simple. Please chant every day. And we will continue Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 with verse number 26 next Sunday. So I'll stop here now. And if anyone has any questions or comments, you are welcome to ask.